there's something that I'm very passionate about, and that is late bloomers, people who just didn't have the right stuff to get to where they were going at the right time. I make no apologies, and I always talk about it all the time, given a chance, when I'm on the top trending talkers, TTTT. By the way, guys always think they don't know what TTTT means. It's the top trending talkers. And for those who are new to, who are unacquainted, I'm an occasional commentator, social commentator on TTTT on NTV. So whenever I'm given an opportunity, I always talk about it on NTV, that I'm a late bloomer. I got married late. I got my stuff together late. And when I say late, I mean past 30s, because there's just this societal norm that you have to have your stuff together at a certain age. And for people who seem to be getting their stuff together much later, there's a bit of stigma. Case in point, I drive a Duduka. No apologies, I talk about it all the time. Sometimes we need to normalize not putting so much emphasis on stuff. And I have a friend who's a banker and a financial analyst, and he tells me, you'll be very surprised how many people live on the other side of Uhuru Highway, but have bought 3 million shilling cars, 2.5 million shilling cars, because they want to impress people. It absolutely doesn't make any sense to me. So maybe right now that I have a large family, a growing family, I feel the need to upgrade, but my Duduka has served me well. We've done road trips, we've created memories. I'm alright with it. But I was giving an example. Case in point, when I'm invited places and I come with my Duduka, guys give me that look of, oh my god, is this a girl on TV? She's driving such a small car. Oh my gosh. I know my car is 5 years old. Imechapwa na jua kidogo, so it has a few patches here and there. We sell traditional vegetables. Hit me up, by the way. We deliver every weekend. So we sell traditional vegetables. Tukaandika tandarua on the car. We didn't know for some reason that the material doesn't go well with the car, so it faded. So I drive a 2007 faded car with patches. And it just shocks me how many people think that I should do better. And I'm like, why? Better in my standards is having the kind of foresight and peace of mind that I have now that I didn't have before. And I feel that is the standard that I want to put on myself and on my goals and on my personal key performance indicators, without feeling the need to impress anybody or be in whoever's club. I'm happy for you, because there is a growing group of young people who are in their 20s and, have bought their first cars, and it's not by loan. I'm happy for you. But, I struggled to get my first car because I was a late bloomer. I didn't have it all together at the time when people should have been having it all together. In my 20s, when guys were investing, when guys were, doing whatever it is that society says you should do after campus, I was partying. The full dunda. Yani, there was this car joint in town. It's called Veranda. Veranda used to be at Cameo Cinema, former Cameo Cinema on Kenyatta Avenue. I think now it's Nairobi Waters offices. I used to go when beer was 100 bob. Yes, I'm old school like the haunting. Hey, we used to party. So I'd get my salary and I'd drink it all and I'd party it all. And it was so normal for me to borrow money, because at that time, the people in my circles, that's what they were doing. They were partying, they were broke by the 20th, they'd either get an advance or they'd borrow money from people. So when you get your salary, you pay debts, and then what are you left with? Money to party until your next loan. So I didn't have it all together. And it's not for lack of opportunity. I had friends who tried to sell me insurance. When I was an actress, or rather a stage manager for Heartstrings Ensemble, now it's called Heartstrings Kenya, we did a skit for the Nairobi Stock Exchange, and guys were paid. This is back in the day, 4,500, which is a lot of money. And I have my friend Fede who invested it in Athi River mining shares. I drank mine. Kwanza was for throwing people rouse. Then I discovered, kumbe, you know, there is cheap liquor like keg. I tell you, for Raji, I was the best.com. Now, it wasn't that I had a drinking problem. It's just that I had, for the first time in my life, experienced freedom. I was out of my mother's house. I was making my own money. I had come from a very strict Christian background, and I was in this rebellious phase, and I just wanted to be free, and I wanted to live my life to the fullest. And I did. And there were consequences. Real dire consequences, not just death. Not just debt. Emotional consequences. Psychological consequences, because you can imagine being in that kind of lifestyle, the kind of people you attract, the kind of relationships you get yourself involved in. They weren't very good. So yes, I had to build myself up from scratch, because there was a time when I was left with nothing, not only monetary but also spiritually. I was empty, I was broken, I was depressed, and I had to build myself up. So when people were now in this phase where guys say they have it all together, they were married, getting their first child, second child, they were buying plots, they were doing whatever the case might be, I was building myself up from scratch, and it was painful. And I have to thank God for the people who walked that journey with me, and some of them are still with me today. They never left me, they invested in me. So finally, when I had my wits about me, I met, just so you know, I knew Larry Madowo from way back when. And Larry, let me tell you a bit about why I love Larry. Larry extends his table. Larry doesn't build walls. People all over social media laughing at him for his, I will never laugh at that dude. Let him have the accent that he wants. Do you know how many people Larry has supported? How many jobs that guy has created for people? How many opportunities he has created? He extends his table so people can eat, and there are very few people in the media who are like that. Take it to the bank. Very few people, not even in the media, in the world, who extend their table. They'll not give you the tools of the trade to learn how to get to where they were. They will build walls so that you can struggle the way they struggle, because they do not understand the importance of extending a table. I love Larry for that. And when Larry came into my life, or rather when because I told you I knew him from before, but when he reached out and said, I love how you talk and your interesting twist on things, be a commentator on The Trend. This was 2014, 15. He opened a door for me, and I was able to be stable again. He gave me a platform that I did not have. And finally, people knew Cindy Ogana of Hot 96 at that time, but they also knew Cindy Ogana of The Trend. And I started building myself slowly. And I found myself in my mid-30s, having my second child, getting married, now putting my finances together. So now I'm a late bloomer. Now is when I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, what can I do? How can I ensure a legacy for my children? That they don't suffer, that they don't have to do black tax. Oh, don't we need a whole car seat episode on black tax? Taking care of your peeps, people. We need a whole other episode. But what I'm saying is, if you're in a situation like me, and maybe you're a late bloomer for other reasons, it might not be as crazy as mine, just that life has dealt you a heavy blow. Like you tried and tried and tried, and you finally got your opportunities. Normalize being a late bloomer in your late 30s, in your mid 40s, in your 50s. Normalize starting a business in your 50s. Right now, everywhere you go, M-Pesa shops, wines and spirits, whatever you can think about a business comes to mind. We have young entrepreneurs because we have an interesting demographic as Kenyans. 65% of our population are below the age of 18. These are guys who have tools that we didn't have growing up. I look at the guys who come to us for internship, and I'm like, I wish I had this opportunity when I was looking for internship. You have the internet. We have more opportunities for online training for women, capacity building, even for men. So yes, let the young people prosper, and I'm all for it. But if you're a late bloomer like me, don't beat yourself up. The latest flowers bloom late. The freshest flowers bloom late. I had a story about the cherry blossom. The cherry blossoms take a while to bloom, but when they bloom the longest. So be a cherry blossom. Enjoy your season. And please do not, for the life of me, compare yourself with anybody. You're special, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Guka. Oh dear, sure.